You think that bag makes you look rich? Let me tell you a secret. It doesn't. It makes you look poor. It screams it. You've just purchased the most expensive billboard to advertise a single, devastating fact. You have been fooled. Here is the paradox. The global luxury goods market is worth over $350 billion. Yet, the average savings account balance for millennials and Gen Z is terrifyingly low. We are surrounded by more luxury logos than ever, while real wealth, assets, investments, financial freedom feels more out of reach. Why? Because that bag, that belt, that pair of shoes with the tiny, shouty logo isn't a stepping stone to the elite. It's a toll booth on a road that goes in a circle. You are paying, repeatedly, to look like you've arrived, while ensuring you never actually do. Let me explain it through the story of Mia. You might see yourself in her. Mia is a 28-year-old marketing executive in a gleaming city high-rise. Her salary is decent, enough to afford a nice studio apartment, good coffee, and the occasional splurge. But every day, she rides an elevator surrounded by women carrying Chanel flap bags, men wearing Rolex watches that cost more than her car. They move with an effortless assurance. They belong. Mia feels a pang, a deep-seated itch. She is on the inside of the office, but on the outside of that world. Her social media feed is a curated museum of affluence. Influencers in Bali with their Louis Vuitton luggage, friends at rooftop bars casually draping their Gucci jackets over chairs. The message is subliminal, constant. This is what success looks like. This is the uniform. One day, after a particularly brutal week and a missed promotion, Mia walks into the serene, carpeted silence of a luxury boutique. The air smells like money and roses. A sales associate with impeccable makeup gives her a look that is neither welcoming nor dismissive, but assessing. Mia, fueled by a cocktail of frustration and aspiration, points to a small leather wallet on display. It's not even a bag, it's a card holder, but it is embossed with the iconic interlocking G's. It costs the equivalent of her weekly grocery bill for 3 months. She buys it. The transaction is a ritual. The thick cream cardstock receipt is placed in a heavy envelope. The small bag is handed over with the grace of a knighthood. For a week, Mia feels a thrill. Every time she pulls it out to pay for her lunch salad, she feels a jolt of validation. She has a piece of the castle. She is playing the part. The card holder is a magnet for compliments from colleagues who notice the tiny logo. "Love your Gucci," they say. Mia smiles, feeling seen. She has, as the marketing geniuses intended, accessed a feeling of instant status. This is the first trap, the illusion of inclusion. Luxury brands sell a shortcut to the aesthetic of wealth. They have democratized the symbol, but not the substance. The actual wealthy aren't buying a logo to feel rich. They are buying an asset, a piece of heritage, often from brands so exclusive they have no logos at all. The old money wears unmarked cashmere. The new money, once it becomes old, learns to do the same. The logo is for the aspirational class, a receipt proving you spent money to look like you have it. Mia's small purchase opens a psychological door. Now she notices how her Zara blazer looks dull next to the buttery leather of a Bottega Veneta. Her watch is a silent, shameful blank on her wrist, where a Cartier tank should be. She starts saving, not for a down payment on an apartment, but for a Louis Vuitton Neverfull. It's an investment piece, she tells herself, parroting the online forums. It's timeless. She forgoes weekends out, skips vacations, and eats more ramen. 6 months later, she carries the totem into the office. More compliments, more validation. She feels upgraded. But here is the second, crueler trap, the diversion of capital. That $2,000 she spent on the bag is not just $2,000 gone. It is the ghost of $2,000 that will never compound. That money, invested in a low-cost index fund with a conservative 7% annual return, would have grown to over $15,000 in 30 years. That bag, in 30 years, it will be a dusty relic in a closet, if it hasn't been donated or thrown away. It depreciates the moment you walk out the store. The logo fades, the leather stains, the style changes. Meanwhile, the $15,000 could have been a cornerstone of her retirement, a safety net, a seed for real investment. Mia doesn't see this. She sees her reflection in store windows, the bag on her arm, and feels powerful. She has entered the cycle of the luxury poor. She earns money, converts it into status symbols to signal that she earns money, which leaves her with less money to earn more money. It's a hamster wheel sprayed with gold paint. The system is engineered this way. The brands are not run by fools. They rely on two things: the human desire for social belonging and the insecurity of not being enough. They stoke the fear that you will be left behind, that you are not truly successful unless you wear the uniform. They create aspirational entry point items, the card holders, the belt buckles, the small logos, to get you hooked on the feeling. Then they tier their offerings, leading you up a golden ladder where the next purchase is always the one that will finally make you feel secure. It never does. The final act of Mia's story isn't a dramatic bankruptcy. It's a slow, quiet realization. She meets a client, a woman in her 40s who runs her own successful consultancy. She is sharp, confident, and wears a simple, beautiful wool coat and a sleek, logoless watch. Over coffee, Mia admires her bag, a structured, elegant leather tote. "Thank you," the woman says. "It's from a lovely small tannery in Italy. I found them years ago." Mia, emboldened, mentions her own recent luxury purchase. The woman nods politely, not with recognition, but with a faint, knowing indifference. It hits Mia then. The woman wasn't wearing a brand. She was exhibiting taste. She wasn't signaling she could buy expensive things. Her confidence and success signaled that for her. The bag was an accessory to her life, not a definition of it. Mia looks down at her own logo, suddenly feeling its weight. It doesn't whisper wealth. It shouts effort. It doesn't say, "I have arrived." It says, "I am trying desperately to arrive." She realizes she has been paying a tax, a monthly premium to the luxury conglomerates, to rent a feeling of elitism that evaporates the moment the trend changes or a newer, hotter bag comes out. So here is the practical conclusion, the script flip. If you want to become rich, not just look rich, you must reallocate your capital. Not from your necessities, but from your illusions. Stop buying the symbols. Start buying the assets. The money you were going to spend on a Rolex, buy a share of the company that makes Rolex, or better yet, a broad market ETF. Instead of a Balenciaga jacket, invest in a course that increases your real-world skills. Replace the dream of a Ferrari with the dream of a dividend portfolio that pays you enough to lease one comfortably, if you still want it, long after the thrill has faded. Real wealth is invisible. It's not carried on your arm. It's quietly compounding in your brokerage account. It's not a logo on your chest. It's the deed to a property, the equity in your own business, the peace of mind of a robust emergency fund. The truly wealthy understand this. They let their balance sheets speak for them, not their billboards. So next time you feel that itch, that pang of inadequacy marketed to you so perfectly, ask yourself, am I buying this to impress people whose approval I don't even need? Or am I investing in my future self, the one who will be truly free? Choose the investment. Let the poor pay to look rich. You will be too busy building actual wealth to care what they think. The most powerful luxury in the world isn't a handbag. It's your freedom. And no one can put a logo on that.